Can you agree with what Ten said, that it's better to play through Swiss stage because they can warm up? If they don't make it past Swiss, they weren't meant to win anyways? Well, I've always been under the opinion that it's better to play than not play. The more you play, the better it is for your team, regardless of what you end up showing. Okay, I understand what VCT, whatever, is trying to do by rewarding the teams that won their regions, by giving them free slots into playoffs, but there are not enough teams at this event for that to be a viable solution. Does that make sense? Like in Counter-Strike events, for example, there are like 32 teams. Because there are so many teams going to the LAN, it's okay to send a few up to the upper bracket already. In this game, it is ridiculous that teams get free berths into playoffs and we don't get to watch more high quality games because these teams are already in playoffs. And there are only like 12 teams here. That is, to me, such a missed opportunity for higher quality and more games as a total. The thing is, they don't do anything about it. I gave up criticizing because they don't do anything about it. They just say they're going to do something about it. And I'm so tired of it. As someone who genuinely enjoys watching Valorant day in and day out, it is exhausting. It is exhausting to constantly give criticism based off prior experiences that not just me, but other players have had in professional esports. And they just don't give a fuck about it. Riot triggers me sometimes, man. I don't think they would ever want to host more than 2 games a day. Right. I mean, exactly. They don't want to do it. I'm sure even in their heads, they know it's probably even more profitable for them long term. For example, just the amount of teams that we have is so few as well. We see the same motherfuckers like playing. And no, I'm going to go into a whole rant. I can't do it. No point. No point. Nothing will change. Nothing changes and then I just get mad. When you see the same people playing over and over again with players kind of being recycled in and out, there's only tier 1 teams, and obviously you only have 3 VCT events a year, it just becomes redundant, and it's hard for not only the players, but the orgs to make any money. Like, that's obvious. These aren't things you guys are like learning from me. This is obviously a terrible business model for like most organizations that enter the game. This is what I don't like, okay? This is what I actually don't like. I don't like that Counter-Strike has had an incredible model over the course of the last 15 plus years, right? They literally set out all the blueprints. Like, here you go. This is how you create a successful game, at least tournament format wise. And it's just never being used. I don't know why you have to be different. When there is something out there that works, you choose to do something less efficient. And that confuses me. To me, I don't know what the end goal is. Like, maybe Valorant does stay alive for the next 10, 15 years and I'm just completely wrong. But I don't see the reason to reinvent the wheel in this situation at all. I never have. Yes, Riot can't run all the tournaments by themselves. That makes complete sense. And even if you say Riot tournaments are like worth more, that's okay. That's okay. But if they're able to let other TOs jump in and create tournaments for tier 2 players and tier 1 players to play in, you will get so much more viewership, more content creation, more teams coming out of nowhere and doing well and having more storylines, more narratives, better players, different players from all different parts of the world. And people will actually feel like they have a future in Valorant. You know, aspiring esports pros will have a future. Right now, if you're a kid in school as grinding Valorant, unless you're like the guy, it's very hard to have faith in yourself that you're going to make it. It is such a gamble in Valorant. You're better off doing it in another esport. Listen, I'm completely okay if the VCTs stay as 2 masters and 1 champs. All I'm saying is bring in third-party TOs to add events on top of that. Just start with 2. So 5 events in the whole year for like tier 1. That already accelerates. It already accelerates the growth of the game immediately, just like that. And Riot doesn't have to do anything. Bring other TOs in for those 2 events. But then it almost feels like Riot doesn't want that to happen because they don't want another TO to overshadow their events. But that would never happen because VCT already has a prestige to it. They already have a baseline. Everyone wants to win VCT over anything else. That's what matters. That will always be what matters. These other events will always be known by the Valorant community as a whole as Mickey Mouse events. End of the day, Riot profits more than anyone else. The game profits, Riot wins, we win, the players win. Like, this is so obvious. It's so like elementary what I'm saying. And that's why it's been done from esport to esport to esport, because it's a model that works for everyone. And orgs are 100% going to support it. And also that sponsor orgs, the orgs that make money, most of that money comes from sponsorships. They would be able to sustain keeping teams for longer if they had the money coming in. Dude, it's so fucked doing a rant with this fucking voice, bro. It is so fucked. I just can't even take myself serious. So the way they did with EWC, which I'm really happy about, by the way, after players come back from EWC, they have like a 4-day break before Masters 1 starts. So they found a gap. They need to do that for one extra event at the end of the year, which is like, you still are able to get like something out of these events. Even if it's completely different from VCT itself, you can keep it separated. But there are definitely time slots where you can fit in these tournaments. Players constantly complain about the fact that there's no events because the year ends in October. Like, say for example, the year ends, right? The year ends, whatever, it's done, and then orgs are planning for next year. And then all of a sudden, Riot announces there will be 6 events next year. All of the orgs are more likely to want to stay in Valorant. Sponsorships will come in like a fucking flurry for them because there are more opportunities to see their logos on stage. There's more events. There's just more shit to do. There's just more shit to watch. Content creators will have more stuff to do. Players will be like, wait, 6 events? Like, that is a lot. And then obviously when you have other TOs, their qualifying formats will be very different from VCT, right? These qualifying events could be like how EWC was. It could be an online tournament, or they can do like a LAN one for 3 days or something. And it could be like really, really fast. But the motivation that it'll bring to all of the players and all of the up and coming players will be very like, it'll change a lot in the scene, I feel like, for the better. Oh, that's a good question. Do you think EWC would outperform the previous Masters? Who knows? But also, who cares? All it does is bring exposure to the game itself. So for example, next year, let's say they have Blast, separate TO and Counter-Strike. If Blast ran 3 Valorant events and you gave them a shot, and then VCT or Riot ran the other 3, every single player would look forward to the next year a lot more. Every single org would look forward to it more. Every single sponsor would look forward to it more. If you run too many events, the trophies feel worthless? No, that's incorrect. Because in Counter-Strike, for example, right, the major will always feel bigger than anything else. There are certain events, ESL events, will always feel bigger than any other DreamHack event that you've ever been to, period. Why? Because they have that standard. The standard is already set for those events. The best teams are there, period. And to get to those events, the circuits are very difficult. The qualifiers are very difficult. Just like to get to a Masters, you have to go through a whole split. That is a very, very difficult thing to do. For like a Blast event, maybe it's just an online qualifier, so it's not worth as much. The Champions League in football is the trophy to get. Even if you constantly win the Premier League, the one chip everyone wants is the Champions League. My whole point behind this rant is this has been obvious for so long. I don't know why it's not implemented yet. And I really, really hope for the next year that we get at least 2 extra events on top of the 3 already.
They can start rewriting that script.